Welcome back, bitches.
That opening is that's what it needs to be.
Hey,
all
y'all.
the time.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, motherfuckers.
It's us again.
What are we talking about today?
I don't know. We're going to just kind of talk about
We
life.
need to just freestyle.
Okay. I mean, I feel like you and I just like hanging out in the car is like our normal. And I feel like we are very entertaining to ourselves. So we have to be entertaining to other people, right?
I think we're entertaining to other people.
I don't know. I was like thinking about.
First of all, you're like molesting the chair. What is happening right now?
For those of you that don't
For
have
those
a
of you
visual.
who cannot see, she is like caressing this chair very
Anyways,
sexually right now.
I don't know. You want to talk about
Younger self.
like what you would tell your younger self? If you could go back and be like, listen, this is like,
I feel
girl,
like
don't do that.
right. But I feel like there are many things that you would tell your younger self because we were doing all the wrong things.
I mean, mine would be starting at like 15. Don't smoke in the stall at
Correct.
school. Like,
Correct.
or, I mean, pivotal points would be like, maybe don't date that guy. Don't steal the cigarettes from 7-Eleven. I did.
I never stole
I did, I
cigarettes.
stole cigarettes.
I never stole cigarettes.
But it's because all the cool kids are outside and they made me do it.
But I remember when I turned 18, I was like, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm buying cigarettes.
Did you buy cigarettes?
Like, why? I did. And I fucking bought, do you want to know what I bought?
What?
Fucking Newports.
Mine were Benson and
Why
Hedges.
was I smoking Newports?
Because you were,
I feel like that
it's
was
gangster.
the thing. Exactly. And like
That was the
everybody
gangster
who was
brand.
smoking cigarettes, we're smoking.
Anyone that was like Marlboro Lights, it was like, pfft, but Newports, it was like, oh shit, like they're cool, you know?
I mean, I think when I was growing up, my parents smoked cigarettes. So
Oh, mine did too. Yeah. My
like,
mom
great.
smoked
I mean, I
fucking
feel like that was the fucking way of the world back then. Everybody was
Merit.
smoking cigarettes. My dad was like smoking cigarettes at the bus stop.
I mean, I think you just that's how you were cool, right?
I mean,
Now-
I guess I just think everyone smoked, and then like I feel like everybody was like, "You're gonna get cancer," and then now everybody
Fuck it.
vapes. Now we've moved on to vaping.
Which is way more enjoyable and smells nice, which, I mean,
I know. When I think back to that, I'm like, ew, what the fuck? Like, why were we ever smoking cigarettes?
I don't know. I think if I could tell my younger self anything, it would be nothing because like I love experiencing things.
I agree.
I loved living. I mean, I didn't make great choices, but
Who is making good
I was not in
choices?
jail.
I feel like from like age 18 to like, I'll go all the way up to like 28. I don't really
33,
feel like,
but whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because 33 for me was like 25.
Because I feel like at 33, you're better off.
And you know
what I
better?
mean?
Right.
Like, if you don't have kids, if you get to 33 and you don't have any fucking kids, then to me, I feel like that is like,
Definitely.
you're not broke.
No.
You know, you're a little bit more secure.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're probably a little bit,
Well, at
you're probably
25,
more wild.
at 25, you're like in the trunk being kidnapped, but you can't like get out. But at 33, you're like, oh, I can like punch the brake out. I put my hand out. Like you can like, you know what I mean? Like by 33, it's like I'm going to escape. But at
I
25,
feel like
you're not.
21 is, well, I feel like we're dating ourselves though, because 21
Yeah.
now going out versus 21 when we were going out.
21-year-old in Richmond, though, I'm like,
Listen, 21 when we were going out
it was like hardcore.
was a different vibe.
Raves. I was going to
Well,
raves.
Not even just that. Like I feel like we were getting dressed up. We were
Yeah.
hoping
It wasn't
that we were
yoga
gonna be
pants and a bun.
guys. Correct.
It was like for all the 9. It was everything.
Correct.
I know.
I know those were so.
Those
were
are
like
the-
the fun
oh my
days.
God,
and
like,
you, put on
literally.
your outfit and you're like all excited to go out
Yes.
and like.
And that was with no FaceTime.
And you pregame at
just-
somebody's
yes,
house first before
yes.
you go out, so you don't have to spend so much money on drinks. I mean, is anyone doing that anymore?
I don't think so. Judging by the quirk last weekend was like library.
See.
Oh my God. Remember like Sir Mix-a-Lot on
But
the radio?
What day was that?
What do you mean?
What day was that? Was that a Friday or was that a Saturday?
No, it
Wasn't
was like a Tuesday.
Was it a Tuesday? Okay, so we can't judge.
No.
then. I mean,
no.
on a Tuesday, like
No, but we've been out downtown. Remember that night that I got up on the chair and was dancing and oh my God, that place was bomb.
I mean, maybe my memory doesn't serve me correct, but I feel like 2010, 2009,
2010
like
was a
I feel
good year.
like people were out and about all the
Oh my
time.
God, it was a vibe and it was so fun. Oh my gosh. You know, I would not change anything. I would tell my younger self maybe not to put so much out there so quickly. Like, I don't know.
No, I
would-
disagree. I say put it all out there. Because why not?
Well, you have to be smarter nowadays with social
But be
media.
smarter.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some of the things that
Yeah.
like we did, like getting completely fucking shit faced and then
Yeah.
like hopping in the car with some random guys and being like, we're gonna go
Do you
party.
ever
at
think
your
about
place."
that?
Right.
Like,
I
how
think
am I
about it all the
alive?
time.
I think about like, how am I alive?
I mean, especially having kids now, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
I want them to live their best
Yeah.
life, but also I'm like, be careful because
Yeah.
I don't want you to get chloroformed and thrown into the trunk of a car. And that could have happened to us.
That definitely could have happened. I don't know. I remember like skipping school and like going and drinking and listening to like Color Me Bad on the radio. Like, ooh, I want to sex you up. Remember that song? Oh, that was the jam. Those were the days. Because you don't want to take anything away. Like, even if my kids fuck up and they do dumb
Yes.
shit, I'm not going to be mad at them. I feel like because I did all those things, just be safe. Because it is a
Correct.
different world,
I feel
right?
like be safe. It's a different world.
And boys don't have to worry about this stuff like we do.
I think I think it's different though. I think their worry is different.
Yeah.
Because
It's like, don't get someone pregnant.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
we're like thinking about our end, which is like, don't get fucked up, don't get pregnant, don't get an STD.
Don't get date raped.
Right. Don't
Yeah.
get date raped. But
Or
I think on their
chloroformed.
end, it's like, don't get shit faced and don't get a girl pregnant. Don't, it's like,
Yeah, don't
that's
Me
the
Too
other end
somebody.
of it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
I mean,
But
and
do-
think about how many times you've been out and you've been like drunk and you're
Yeah.
all over some guy and,
Yeah,
shit happens.
it does. I mean, I feel like it would have ended badly, but I also feel like I wouldn't censor myself or anything. I mean, what are you going to do if Arya come home and she's like, oh my gosh, last night was popping and I met this dude and we went back to his house. Would you be like, honey, you can't do that? Or would you be like, good for you,
I think I would be like, good for you, honestly.
like I would
I mean, I
too.
feel like if she did all the like right things to
And she's telling
be
you.
safe,
And she's telling you.
I mean, and she's telling me, then, I mean, it's no different than anything I was doing.
Or still am doing, whatever.
Right. I feel like, I don't know. I
We
feel
do
like
take a lot of
kinda-
risks. Even as adult women, we still take risks.
That's true.
I mean, walking in an alley downtown at like 3 a.m., probably not the best idea in the dark where there's no street lights,
Yeah. I'm like going back to my mind right now and I'm like, yeah.
With the car
like,
slowly coming behind you with the
I
headlights.
don't know. I mean, I feel like even getting into an Uber with somebody,
Sometimes-
I mean, even that could go wrong. I mean, I think you're always taking a risk when you
Oh,
go
do you
out.
remember like Michael Poindexter?
Yes.
I have an Uber driver like on lock.
Stand by.
Yes. Look,
Wait,
literally.
where were we going? when
Zach,
we came
we met this Uber guy. His name is Michael Poindexter. He's actually went viral on TikTok. Because what did he do? He like punished his son and broke his phone or something, and it went viral. Anyways,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
remember?
Uh-huh.
And so he ended up taking us from our houses in Midlothian to Dover Hall.
Correct.
And he was like, I'm not doing anything the rest of the night. So if you guys want to go out, like I'll come get you. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. And Sade is like, I feel like this probably isn't a good idea. But I'm not even kidding you. When we were done at Dover Hall with the party, I was like, hey, Michael, can you come get us? Came and got us all the way out at Dover Hall and drove us downtown and waited outside for us outside the restaurant. Probably not
guys,
very
like,
smart. Probably not.
No, not smart at all.
No.
Definitely not smart. But I mean,
was-
those are the things I'm talking about. It's like, was he being nice? Or was he hoping that he was
kidnapper.
going to sleep with
Right.
somebody at the end of the day?
Was he weird in the car? Like in the car ride? Was he cool?
This bitch, by the way, y'all, I was like, okay, it's on his way to take me home first. And Sade's like, can he take me home first? Do you remember? And all I remember thinking is tonight is the night that I die.
Because I felt like I was
She
like,
was scared.
this bitch is trying to pull one over on me. I'm like, listen, you got to go by my house to get to your house. I was like, there's no way. we're cruising by.
Nope.
I'm like, we can drop me.
There
off
was like a
first,
little
and
pep
then-
in her step as she's walking towards her house, like, I'm alive. And like, I was just like, oh my God, like anything can happen right now. Because he definitely was into me.
Definitely was into you.
And I just remember-
think about it like this. Like, how many Uber drivers do you know would literally like you just call them, give you the personal number and just say like, hey, if you ever like
Yeah.
he said ever, if we were ever out,
Yes.
that he
And we
would
took
come
advantage
pick
of
us
that.
up. And we took advantage
And
of
then it
That
was
literally
like
could have
time to
been-
pay. And I was like, well, how much is it? And he's like, however much you want to give me. And I'm like, this I mean, and there was no paper trail.
No paper trail.
Cut to me chopped up in a box somewhere because Sade got dropped off first.
I mean,
I was so mad
I'm not
about
gonna
that.
lie,
I was salty.
I did wait by my phone though. 'Cause I
And
was
then
like,
you remember he found your ring?
yes.
Sade got this beautiful ring from her son for, I think it was like Mother's Day or something.
Yes, it was so
Anyways,
sweet.
and she had taken it off, and for some reason
No,
in the
it fell
car.
off.
Oh, it
just
fell
fucking
off. And he texted me like a few days later, and he was like, "Your friend left the ring," and I was like, "God damn her!" Like I was so bad because I was like, "Here we go."
I know, but in my mind, I was like, how is he giving the ring back?
Right.
Remember, you were like, does he come
How
to
did
the
we get?
studio?
Did we do that?
He
What
came to
happened?
the studio.
I don't remember.
He came to the studio and dropped
Oh.
it off.
Damn.
Listen, there are
We're
many
lucky
times
we're
where we could have
alive.
been chopped up and
all I'm saying.
Thrown out somewhere.
You know what? Don't use us as the example.
Don't use this as the
That's my advice to my younger self is like, don't use me as the example. like,
or use you as the example. I mean, I feel
Right.
like you lived.
I know I have
I feel
no
like we both
regrets.
fucking lived.
I don't really have any regrets.
I have no regrets.
I mean, I do have one regret, and mine is like being mean to my mom. That would be like my biggest one.
That's very
I was a terror fucking child as a
Aren't
teenager.
we all, though, to an
I was
extent.
horrible. I was absolutely horrible to
I
my
think
mom.
at like age 13,
yeah,
I was kind of an asshole.
yeah. I don't think you were at my level.
Oh, I definitely was. My
Were
parents
you?
drove me out to a juvenile correctional facility and threatened for me to get my life together or they were going to leave me there. So I do feel like I was.
My parents put me in Outward Bound at 15 years old, where they take you out. I had to canoe the swamp. Okay, anyone that knows me knows that I don't do outdoors.
When you tell the story, this shit takes me out every time.
Because I'm a badass canoer like that. You do not know this about me, but I canoed 120 miles down the Swanee River. Like we had to run 6 miles a day and then jump into the, like this was the torture my parents wanted for me because I was so bad. 2 weeks. That's how long it took. And I will say when I came back, I was different.
But you also forgot the part where you also stayed in a tent.
I stayed in a tent. It's called a solo. And you have to write all the things that you've done wrong and how you're going to change your life. And there's no one around you for 3 whole fucking days. You're alone in the woods.
That's fucking terrifying.
It's like, you're like, what is that? What is like, and they give you like peanuts
Are you
to
by
eat.
yourself though? Like,
You're
literally
solo,
by
bitch.
yourself.
That's what solo means. You are absolutely 1000% on your own. Terrifying, but I will say it did work.
I mean,
it was
I would
like,
like to
Scared
believe.
Straight outdoor edition. Like it was like, I literally was like, when my mom came to pick me up, I was like, I love you. I'm like, thank God for this door on this
See,
room.
I think
And-
my parents were going for the Beyond Scared Straight, like the
Oh,
TV show
mhm.
edition, not the you're
Yeah.
gonna stay out in a fucking tent in the middle of the woods.
No, they did take me on the female prison tour. That was at
I used to love
17.
watching that show.
It was awful. Like literally, my mom was like, "Goodbye," and like I had to go inside, and there was a bunch of other juvenile, fuck ups with me, and
I mean,
they were. It was
extreme. I mean, I feel like we're not there yet,
no.
and maybe we'll feel differently when we
Maybe.
are. But I
Maybe.
do think that is a little extreme.
They were like, "We're gonna get you." I'm like, "No, I don't want to go in here. I'm scared." My mom was like, "Goodbye. Enjoy your day." I'm
I
like,
feel
"Oh my
every
god."
time I've ever watched that show, it's always very sexual. It's like, oh, we can't wait to get our hands.
The
on
lady
you.
literally was like, we sew their lips together so that they can't like attack each other. Literally. And I just remember thinking, and that was like a horror film to me, like thinking like, oh my
Wait, what
God.
lips are we talking about?
The ones you think. yes.
God,
And they were like,
you like.
I think that they
scared?
actually, yes, I think they actually tell the people, like the prisoners in there, like do the most so that they don't want to come here because that's what they did. They were like licking the. It was so scary. I was like, I'm scared. And then my mom came, how was it? And I'm like, I will never mess up again. I'm sorry.
Not.
But oh my God, like experiences like that though. But I feel like today is different because like back then it was like, how am I going to get this kid on the straight and narrow? Like I was doing all the things. If you wonder if I was doing them, I was. And that's
think
how
we
they
live
had to
in a
get me.
different time now. Like
it's a
I
different
really
time.
do. I think that
Back
we
in
got
the
away
dinosaur
with
days.
doing all the crazy stuff
Yeah.
because
No.
it was different.
Okay, so what would be like the biggest piece of advice you would tell your younger self?
Don't chase guys.
Yeah, don't date.
Does that ever? Do you ever really like stop that though? Does that
Like
ever
you're
really
never
go
gonna get the
away?
guy that every girl wants. Like that's the thing. You're not.
You're not.
You're not. He's
You're
gonna give you
not.
attention.
I mean, I feel like we've been in situations too where
Yeah.
we've been that person that's like, oh, girl, like
Yeah.
you need to be living your best life. I mean,
Yeah.
I do tell people that all the time.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, don't chase the fucking guy who's
Yeah.
giving you JR energy from Ultimatum.
Love him though. He's
He
so
is
hot.
fine, but yeah,
He's
no.
very good looking. He
But
is
it's
bad.
also-
But you recognize that now because you've been through it.
right.
Like every
I
single
mean, it's like very much like Caleb on the show is the guy that you need.
oh god.
JR is not the guy that you need. JR is the guy that is going to throw you in the bed
with the
and-
tattoos and like
exactly
yeah.
fuck your brains out.
Love
and
you
you're gonna be
down.
like so love you down, and you're going to be so
Yeah.
in love.
Yeah.
But then he's going to leave you on red the next day.
Yeah.
He's not going to respond to you, and you're going to
Yeah.
be heartbroken.
I'm so glad there weren't cell phones in my day because I feel like I probably would have been a much different person.
Yeah, but I feel
'Cause,
like,
like-
but I feel like I was watching something recently and they touched on that, like how like back in the day, like there was like no like social media and like texting and stuff, and it's like if you called somebody, you're like leaving a message,
like a
you know,
yeah.
a voice, like a voice
On a-
message,
Right.
right?
You
And
press
so it's
play
like
when
you
you
have
get
to
home.
play that game with people. where it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like do I call him or am I calling him too soon?
There was still
Like,
mystery.
yeah, there
Where
was
now it's like
mystery.
you can tell if somebody's read your message.
correct
Which you
leaving you.
but you don't know if right you could obviously see that, but you don't know if they're playing it at home on a voice. What is it called? Not a voice recorder. What is that called? An answering machine.
Answering machine.
An
yeah.
answering machine. Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Playing that game of like,
Oh, that was
do I
actually pretty
call?
fun, though.
Do I leave a
Yeah.
fucking, message? on the answering
Yeah.
machine.
Oh, I would not want to go through that.
Yeah,
Our
it's
girls
different.
are lucky.
It's
I don't have to deal with
different.
That.
I mean, now you can be fucking comfortable when you go
Yes.
out. You don't
True.
even have to.
True.
You know?
I know. And now you see where people are at.
That's like that was part of the appeal.
Yeah. Because remember, you would like go to a party and be like, "Oh my gosh, I hope Jason's not there. Like, do you think he's going to be
Yeah.
there?" Now we know because he's posting on stories and he's like there. And you're like, "Never
Correct.
mind, I'm not going."
Correct.
Where before it was like a mystery. There's no mystery anymore.
Mystery's gone.
Well, sayonara 1990s for me.
Hmm.
For you, it's like early 2000s.
Early 2000s and Zacharoni, early 2000s.
Right, white chocolate.
Yep.
What
Those
a
are the
time.
days.
What a time
Let's
to be in the
reminisce.
club listening to Lil
Welcome.
Wayne. I know.
God.
So many good
so
songs.
many.
Like that what really was
Zach, when
a
we went out the
time.
other night, it was so annoying. It was like all of these girls, they were so hot, sitting around the quirk in like yoga pants and high buns. And I'm like, do you remember when we call each other and
Like-
be like, girl, what are you wearing? Oh, my
Right.
skirt is not short enough.
Or I'm coming over and we're gonna get plastered. And then
Yes.
we're gonna fucking Uber wherever the fuck we were going. Well,
right,
get
We
a
were-
ride.
right.
Nobody
Catch a
was-
ride
Yeah.
from the guy we probably weren't supposed to be riding with.
Right.
right.
Right. But it's like
Ah.
all the thought that went into going out and
Yeah.
you're like, you can't get there too early. Like,
Yes,
you're gonna get there
yes.
late. It's like, are people still doing that? Do people still
no,
do that?
they
'Cause
don't.
I feel
and
like
we
they're
saw
not.
it, Exhibit A, the other night. It was like they like met first and read a book and then went to have cocktails.
I mean, listen.
We were the wildest ones in there, and we are 35 plus.
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I feel like that doesn't go away.
It doesn't. We still are the most
I was
fun.
gonna say, I feel like you will always be fun. I will always be
Oh,
fun.
yeah,
That
even
doesn't
when
go
I'm
away.
80.
But I do feel like what we were just talking about earlier. I feel like your life does get a little mundane. Like kids and a husband,
Yes,
and like
balances you out,
it
settles
slows
you down.
It
Yeah,
does. It slows you down a little bit.
I know, but I feel like the mistake, like our parents, well, maybe not yours. Yours are the exception because they're cool as shit. But like my parents had kids, and like every night was a routine. It was like dad had his scotch, mom had her glass of wine, dog was sitting here.
Right.
I'm never gonna be that person.
No. But I do feel like you get to a point where it's like you're either swinger territory or you're either swinger territory or you're
Yeah.
not swinger territory. I mean, listen, I'm not judging anybody. Like I get it. Like I feel like when you get to that age and you have kids and you have a husband, your life is like boring. I understand why people like decide to go that
Is this
route.
the decision that you're making right now? We're
I
gonna become
listen.
swingers?
I understand it. I just feel like
No,
I get
yeah.
it. Like I get why people go that
Definitely.
way, but
Yeah.
I mean, listen. That I feel like
Is
that.
that the only option? It's
but
like
I
you-
feel like that can. I feel like it turns into a shit show, though.
It definitely does.
It definitely would turn into a.
It would
shit
complicate things.
Show. Yeah, it definitely.
Don't
would.
sleep with your neighbor. I think that would probably, like, you know what I mean? Like, have to be like some distance there. right?
Are people sleeping with their neighbors?
I don't know. You have
I
a
don't
hot
know.
neighbor.
Listen,
Your neighbor's hot.
which one? Dole.
No, the girl.
Oh yes,
She's pretty.
but she's not tied down in a relationship, so
True.
she's not feeling
Also
like,
a problem. She's single.
right. Like she's not tied down into a relationship, so she's not feeling that way.
It's complicated.
Zach agrees with me.
Do you, Zach?
He does.
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like
Thanks
that's
for
what
that.
happened.
Thanks for chiming in.
Sorry, you guys covered it.
Thanks for chiming in on that. What else do you want to talk about today? The glow up, the Lindsay Lohan glow up.
That's insane.
I know.
That's all I have
I'm,
to say about
shocked.
that. Is
Have you done your research
literally
on that?
shocked.
I was losing my mind. I don't know if you guys have seen Lindsay Lohan's glow up. Her before and after are very different though. Because I thought even her before, I thought she was so pretty, but now she doesn't even look like the same person.
Like surgery happened.
Oh, for sure. Did you see with her doctor?
I did not.
And then people were in the comments what did she have done? And the doctor was like, it's patient confidentiality. And it's you can't speak to
I
it.
mean, I think that's dumb because it's obviously we all have fucking eyes. We can see that clearly her a year, 2 years ago.
The doctor was like, ask Lindsay.
Well,
I'm
listen,
okay.
the proof is in the we can see that obviously some
She looks
changes
like you
were
now.
made.
Perfect. Snatched.
Love that for me.
Her before though, did you realize she looked that I don't want to say she was bad.
I didn't think that she looked that crazy, but then seeing her after, it definitely is a difference. It definitely is a difference.
I'm man, God, that is just that's rough.
I mean, if I had to guess, I feel like surgery happened. I feel like
it's a whole
maybe
facelift.
some filler, happened.
I feel
Obviously Botox, but it's
right.
Everybody.
But I feel her makeup, everything is different. Her hair, all the things.
Something on her face changed. I'm not sure if it was.
I think she got a facelift.
I don't know if we did rhinoplasty. Something changed on her.
Do you
face.
think that when I get my facelift, that's what people will say? They'll be like, "Oh, something has changed. Something has changed."
No, I mean, I feel like you.
be snatched.
I feel like on anyone you would just look smoother.
The before and after is nuts. I mean, it blew my mind because I always thought she was very
before and
pretty.
after that, we really need to be getting into is Donatella Versace.
I think everybody knows that photo. That
everyone knows that photo. I mean, before she was giving very much.
Who did that to her? Right.
I don't know, but obviously she had done things before, right?
Yeah, but they were wrong.
But it was bad.
I think it
wasn't
all filler.
good. It was
I think
bad.
it was all filler. I think it was all filler, and now she had a facelift. I'm telling you, the best
I don't know. I
solution
think
is a facelift.
I think there might have been some dissolving.
Oh, maybe that's a
I
good
think
point.
some dissolving because it was very full here.
It was very I am a lion.
It was very I'm a lion.
I also maybe jigsaw a little bit.
I might. Yeah, it was giving very much jigsaw. I don't know. I think that a facelift happened, and
I think that is a difference. I feel like after a while, that's the only answer is to cut the skin away and start over again. Cut the skin away.
I was I'm are we here?
Yeah.
Because I'm ooh, cut the what skin are we talking
Look, cut my
about?
skin away. If somebody is giving away a facelift, I will take it. I will do it tomorrow. I don't even care. Snatched, I would love
You
it.
don't have fucking skin to cut
I
away.
don't care. I still want it.
I think
I want
if
the
you
Eve
cut
lift.
the skin away, you would look insane.
Like a baby.
You would look insane if someone cut the skin away. It can't happen. You're not there yet, but when you are there, we will cut the skin away.
Thank you. That's all I wanted you to say was that I could have
Tighten
it.
it. We will cut. We will.
There's 33 somethings that are having facelifts. You sent me that
I
podcast.
think that's nuts.
Podcast that had that, and I'm like,
And I think that's crazy.
I don't.
I think it's crazy.
You're
I mean,
omitting
I
all the
guess it
Botox.
I guess it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
And
And what's
your
affecting you.
aging process, how you're
True.
aging.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all have our shit,
I really wish that I could give facelifts.
Listen.
Oh my God, I would literally cut my own face.
I
Do
I
not
was
care.
just getting ready to say that. I
Staples.
already know where this is going. You would be in there slicing and dicing
Literally
away.
would. If it wouldn't hurt, I would do it. I would have done it yesterday.
That would be scary.
Oh my God, I would be awesome.
That would be
She'd
very
be like, oh, let me
scary.
just a little bit staple.
I feel like a lot more men are getting stuff done.
Agreed.
Think of what's the guy? High School Musical. Help me out? Zac
Efron.
His face was
Wait,
completely
yes,
different.
yes.
I'm pretty sure something happened to him though, because I feel like I was commenting about this before, Zach, and someone corrected me and they were like, no, he had an accident. And so he
Wait,
had to get
what?
corrective surgery. Yes, I was talking about it on a wedding because I was like, I think he's gone too far. And they were like, oh, this happened and he had to have a surgery.
Why did I not hear about that?
I'm telling you because like,
What kind of accident was it?
I don't know.
Like
But
a car accident?
I don't know. It was like some tragic thing that happened to him. And that's why he had to have the surgery.
Okay, well, if that's the
I
truth,
think it's
that
a lie.
is
Yeah.
actually sad, but
He's still hot. You could chop his head off.
I think, yeah, I
Fine.
think he still looks good.
I think he looks
it's
good.
like when you go.
It is a little, what is like, you don't want to say jigsaw, but I mean, that's the best reference, but it is like
I'm trying to think of
overfilled.
like a male, like.
What is your
celebrity.
perspective on that, Zach? Like, what do you think about Zac Efron and how he looks? I want to know.
I don't know. I would never get any. Let's say, this is my face.
Well,
It's my
because
face.
you're-
But I'm a guy.
But-
But also more guys are getting it done.
But
So
you're Zacharoni, so
yeah,
there's that.
yeah,
You
and
know?
I
you
don't
know, maybe if you're in the movies, it's different.
Sure.
Okay, but he's also not like, I think when you get older, that is where like your mind changes a
Yeah.
little bit and you're just kind of like, okay, this shit isn't looking the way that it was looking in 2014.
Yeah, but
or
think about it.
whatever.
Like Lindsay and Donatella, right? Like they both have been seeing surgeons. They both have been going to doctors and having filler and stuff done. So why now? What's the difference? It's like I
It's a
paid all of
refresh.
this, right? But like I paid
refresh.
all this money all along the whole entire way, and now is the only time that I looked good. Because I'm saying like the before photos of Lindsay, I'm like it is shocking.
It is shocking. It is shocking. I don't feel like she ever looked bad,
yeah.
but she was definitely looking older than her
Older
age.
and like expired. Like it was like
Expired,
all
that's
of
a
the
great
things
word.
that have been done had been expired. Oh my God, if I ever am expired, you better fucking tell me or I will never forgive you.
But you're not expired.
No, because I'm perfect.
You're
but
very much.
moving on.
You're on brand. You're not expired. So
At home facelifts. Listen, talk to me. If
that
you
is
need a guinea pig, I will
scary.
do I
That
will
is-
be it.
Could you imagine
I would
getting
be
on
living.
fucking Amazon and having that shit delivered?
My kids
to
would be
your
like, Mommy, what are you
doorstep?
doing in there? I'm
And
like,
you're
I'm
just
still
just slicing away.
Stop slicing your face, Mommy.
Stop slicing your skin.
Stop, Mommy. Zoe would be like, can you do me next? She's
Who
like
is
9.
somebody? Who is somebody though that is a guy that had like
That gone wrong?
I can't. Yeah, because I can't. Like, there's so many.
I don't
but
know if
just
it's
can't
anybody
think of
that
them
you would
off the top
know.
of my head right now.
I don't think you would know. Like Kenny Rogers or the guy
Kenny
from like
Rogers? Are you-
Smokey and the Bandit guy. What was that guy's name?
First of all, how old am I?
I don't know. 25.
I don't know who Kenny Rogers is.
Islands in the
offended.
stream.
I'm
That
offended
is
because
what-
you talk to me like I'm like 16 years old.
But his ended up looking,
yes,
you know.
it's giving snake face.
It is. But I think the difference is like starting too late.
Agreed.
Like if you like, I just feel like you have to start at like in late 30s.
Especially for men,
Men.
because it's like if you freeze,
Because it changes
if you
how you look.
freeze when it's already like wrinkling has happened,
You're freezing the
You're
wrinkles.
freezing the wrinkles, and so it's
And
like,
at that point,
you're
get a
freezing the
facelift.
wrinkles.
You're frink for fringer.
You're free.
I feel like if a man's getting it done, like you're probably rich, right? If you're a man getting it
Well,
done.
yeah.
So like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna say you don't want to look good, but like you probably
Is it midlife crisis era?
could be. But
That's
you see
what
all
I'm
those like
thinking.
80-year-old billionaires, and they all have supermodels. Like, if you're rich, does it matter? If you're a
I
man?
feel like
Agreed.
to some extent.
I feel like it's a
Agreed.
double standard for men. Like I think it's a little not like frowned upon, but like I feel like
Would you date a man with a facelift?
does he look good?
I don't. I feel like I wouldn't. And here's why. I feel like I would like a man that looked aged. I don't want him to have a facelift.
I agree with you on that.
which is
I
weird
agree.
because it's like I respect a woman who has a facelift and I think it's
No.
attractive. But on a man, I'm kind of like, I don't know that that's attractive to me.
I
Isn't
agree
that
with you.
weird?
No, I agree with you. I think a
It's fucking
man
weird.
who is seasoned.
Have you seen a good one though? I've never seen.
I've never seen a good one, but I like an older man. So there's that.
I like younger men.
You do.
That's
You-
my confessional.
We're the opposite. Maybe that's why we vibe together. But I think men look better as they get older.
Older, right? They
do.
get more distinguished,
They're more
sophisticated.
distinguished.
Yeah. I know. And like when you're doing this, it's just not. Save it for the women. I'm not nominating it like everyone.
Like the
hates
salt
me.
and pepper on a man
Yeah.
is just like chef's kiss.
I know, but like salt and pepper on a woman is defined differently, right?
Yeah, because it's
Who
it's
had
like,
white
because
hair?
It's like you're.
Oh, you weren't here this weekend. We had a
No, I was.
No, on Saturday, Kristen and I had a mom who literally, bless her heart, she had to have brain surgery. She has tremors and she had to have brain surgery. And so, like, she did it before.
Yeah.
This woman had hair as dark as mine, shaved her head for the surgery. Her hair grew back white.
No way.
Like all white. Yes.
Like stark white.
Yes. And I'm like, but I will say, like, seeing a before and an after, it was like, you know, whatever, do you. Like, no
Right,
judgment.
right.
Like, I'm not saying, like, don't wear your hair gray, whatever.
Right.
Do you, be authentic. But, like, I was like, it was like 55 versus like 72. It was like a very big difference. It's
I think
different
that's
for
why- I think
women.
it's different for women. I mean, I think that it's just one of
I feel
those
like
things
we always
where,
go off on this, though. It's like,
where we get older. It's like when we
Yeah.
get older, the gray hair is like.
I'm
but
never
I
gonna
don't
be
know
gray.
because listen,
Ever.
we did a wedding this past weekend, and Sarah Deebs, her
we love you,
aunt,
Sarah Deebs. You're on the show now because you've been texting me all day. We love you.
literally, her aunt, stunning.
She's the Kris Jenner of like New Jersey.
literally the short,
Yeah.
gray hair. I mean, like her makeup.
She had a
was
choker
laid.
on
Oh my
of
God,
diamonds. Like, oh my God.
she was stunning, and
I know.
I don't know. It's weird because it's like on certain people,
But she owned it though.
right?
And I think
And
that's
maybe
the
that's what
difference.
it is.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
But maybe it's also too. It's like having like full face be. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
with the gray hair, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. She was just cute though.
I know, we
too.
were like, will you remind us of Kris Jenner? She's like, oh, I hear that all the time. I'm like,
mean-
oh, love that for you.
I think you have to own it for a woman.
Yeah.
If you don't own it, then
It
it's
sounds
like
so superficial to sit here and like say these things, but like also like today's world is like being snatched, being pretty, being feeling good about yourself. Like all those things really matter.
all those pressures. I feel like all
Yeah.
those pressures are on women, and it's like you do get to a point where it's like, do you color your hair? Do you not color your
know.
hair? Do you, you know?
No.
Fucking men, dude.
Fuck you guys.
You guys.
Fucking Y'all fucking up for
You guys need
Damn
to
it.
fucking get older, and
God.
you know everything just like looks a lot better.
Better.
Like
like a fine
like-
wine, and we're like over here,
it's like
we're
us,
grapefruit
it's like,
juice.
do we color or do we not color? You know?
I know.
Gosh.
And the growing out process isn't good. I'm never gonna be gray. I'm never
Listen,
gonna be
it's
gray.
happening
Not
to me
naturally.
now, and I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm like, do I just kind of like let it happen?
Why is it such a faux pas to like grow old gracefully? Like, why is that? I don't feel like I want
Because
to.
I feel like because I feel like for women, like for us, it's like you're in the male gaze, and so
yeah.
I think most of the time, like everything that we do,
But don't you want your inside to match your outside? That's how because like on the inside, I'm like 22. Okay, no, like 25.
that's
But
true.
The
That's
outside,
true.
you like want it to reflect like how you feel.
I think that is
You know?
good. I feel like that's good because I feel like it is a personal
It
thing. Like if you're
is.
the type of woman that you're like, I don't give a fuck what any guy
No.
thinks about me. Let your shit fucking go gray. Do you? But I feel
Listen.
like if you're like on the inside and you're like, I am not loving the gray hair because I feel like I still look like I'm fucking
Yeah.
dirty, then fucking throw the fucking color on your head.
Don't be judgmental.
You know? Who gives
Yeah.
a shit?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But the white haired woman, so after her surgery, she had a buzz cut. I was living for it.
I
It
love
was like
that.
growing in white. She looked so cool.
I think that's really fucking
She had like
cool.
headbands on and stuff. And I was like, man, you go, girl.
I think that's cool.
Loved it.
But once again, owning it,
Yeah.
you know?
Just like, yeah. It's a bitch
You
being a
own it.
woman.
I mean, moral of the story is
What's the moral of the story?
moral.
Because I totally forgot.
Listen, the moral of the story is when we were talking about Lindsay Lohan, and
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Phil, and then we went off on a tangent about fucking Mickey Rourke or whoever.
Oh, Mickey Rourke. That's who it is.
Whoever we
The guy
were
from
talking
9.5
about.
weeks, right?
Exactly, because you think I'm a newborn and I don't know who these people are. Like literally, Kenny Rogers. I'm still offended that you think that I don't know who that is. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Listen, that is, I mean, he is a perfect example of
The gambler.
bad. And the
Is that
moral
who it
of the
was?
story
Yes,
is
yes,
that,
yes.
you know,
Live your truth. If
live
you-
your truth. But I do feel like for a man, men do look better when they have
Untouched.
some wrinkles and some gray hair and shit. And like,
because you want a burly
look
man,
like they can put a screwdriver into the wall and hang up curtains and
aka Jesus. We know. I mean, I definitely agree with that, and that is so. It seems like hypocritical
Yeah.
to say it like that, but it's actually true.
no, it's true.
I would love to know women's take on this, like other women besides us. Like, how do you feel? Like, would you date a guy with plastic surgery? Obvious plastic surgery.
I wish we could like put the poll up right now.
I
and
know,
just be
because I feel like a lot of them would say
I
no.
feel like a lot would say no.
I don't want to compete with the guy that I'm with.
I feel like that's giving like a very vain man. And at that point, it's like, I don't want to be getting ready and like, I'm waiting for you and you're taking forever. Like, ew.
If it's like fingernails and like hygiene stuff, I'm cool with that. But like, I don't want it to be like you're like, covering with concealer your surgery scars or whatever.
Fine though. I think that's a fine line because I'm sorry. I don't want you fucking shaving your pubes and shaving off all your body hair. I mean, that's what
I prefer that actually, but
I feel like some women are like on that where they're like, I feel like that's just like
I don't want to get wrapped up in all the hair.
Or some women are like, no.
Yeah. It's personal preference.
Right. It's personal preference, but it's like,
yeah.
I like a man.
Yeah.
I like a man.
I don't want a man with a facelift. Just know that. I will not be dating a man with a facelift.
No.
That is my choice.
So it's safe to say we'll never see you with anyone else.
No,
Like
I will not be dating Kenny Rogers also because he's dead, but also
rest in peace, Kenny Rogers.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Kenny. We love you. Islands in the Stream. Remember the song with him and Dolly Parton? I love Dolly Parton.
You laugh.
If I had another baby, I would have named her Dolly with an IE with a heart above it.
That's really cute.
I know.
I really do.
Zoe should be Dolly, but it's fine.
Zoe's cute.
I know, she's so cute. It should be
Lana.
Should be like I with like the little heart.
It's her middle name that takes it over the edge. And I love that whenever you tell people you're like Zoe
Alana and Milo Max. I'm really proud of it. That's why. Because it's super cool.
Love that.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about with your people today?
I mean, I feel like we covered the pubes. We covered the swingers.
We did.
I feel like I was going very, and I feel like you were very reserved today, but
sometimes that's the balance of yin yang.
Listen, it's a front.
Our relationship.
Nothing about you is reserved, bitch. Nothing about you is reserved.
It's true.
At all.
I know.
Love you.
I digress today.
Okay.
I'm like, this is the episode where my kids can't listen.
Listen. Kids never should be listening,
but
so
they do.
There's that.
They do.
I was informed that some of my children's friends have subscribed and are
I know.
watching.
When I was listening to our podcast, yes, I'm a loser. I was listening to our podcast, and it was on the screen in the car, and Milo goes, "Look, Mommy, that's you," and I was like, "Oh, that was very sweet." But also, don't listen because there's a lot of F's and a lot of so.
This was,
but they know better than say fuck.
To your younger self.
I mean, correct. Well, that's too young. Oh, it's the whole Milo and life class thing is tripping me out.
The family life.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know anything. I haven't really asked him, but he really hasn't shared too much of what's going on with that.
I mean, I don't know if y'all remember having family life, but I feel like mine was in 7th grade and they're starting it in 5th grade now, which is scary.
I feel like I definitely remember we had it in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And that was them putting up a chart and being like, these are your fucking ovaries.
No,
and
my neighbor, because I was telling them about it. They were super religious and they do everything properly. I was like, oh, Milo's in life class now. I'm like, he doesn't really want to talk about it. And so she brought me this book, y'all. This book is called It's Totally Normal. And I started looking through it and it literally has sperm coming out of and
I feel like I've heard or I've seen this.
I was like, I cannot. I'm like,
I mean, what is the end?
What is the scrubbing bubbles? Is that the do you know what I'm talking about? Where it's that, that's what it looked like. And it had a happy face on it. And I was like, I can't, I don't even, here you go. I just don't.
I don't subscribe to that. I just feel like
if they need us, they'll tell us
a book and just be like,
here, good luck with that.
Good luck to you.
Oh, it was all these arrows pointing to different parts and stuff, and then it had the sperm coming. I was like,
I'm kind of listen, whatever if you want to ask me something, I'm an open.
Correct.
I will tell you.
Yes.
Whatever.
I just don't see having that conversation at 11. Is it necessary? Are they getting blowjobs in the bathroom?
I think they're giving blowjobs in the bathroom, girl. First of all, I know because me and my son are like this, and he tells me everything, and he did tell me that. He told me that his words exactly, that people fuck in the bathroom.
There is no way. What are they doing? I just don't.
I was shocked.
That terrifies me. I don't want to know that stuff.
At 11?
Yeah.
At 11. And then I had to go back in my brain and I'm like, well, wait a second.
At 11, I was not doing that.
Go back to fucking Swift Creek Middle School. What was going down? I don't feel like that was ever going down.
I don't either, but
But
I
I
have
mean, I could be wrong. I certainly wasn't.
I wasn't
doing
either.
it.
Not at 11.
I feel like middle school was that age, and like you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like middle school was the age where like everybody perpetrated and acted as though they were doing like things,
But you really
they weren't
weren't.
really doing anything.
It was like holding hands was like a major thing.
Right.
Right.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people actually really were doing
But
it.
don't, they have more access to things now.
Yeah, well,
I feel like I was trying to get like hugs at 11.
yes,
Like,
yes. There's always that. I
hug
feel
at the
like there was-
lockers, you know?
Yes,
Yes.
there's always that guy that was.
But you like put a note in someone's locker,
Yeah.
do the little things. Like
yeah,
it was not, I'm having sex in the bathroom.
yeah.
Maybe the 8th graders. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was 8th graders.
I mean, I did ask him, and he did say that he
It
felt
was
like it
older.
was like the older, like the 7th and 8th graders.
gosh.
But I'm like, geez, is that coming down the pike? The
Yeah,
seventh, like
it is. It's coming down the pike.
We're like almost into that. Like
Oh my
that's
God,
coming
kill
down
me
the pike.
now. Kill me now.
I don't know, but that's why I think you do have to have those conversations now.
I mean, do you ever remember thinking like when you were their age about your parents having sex and you were just like, they do? Like
Well,
what?
hasn't everybody like walked in on their parents or like
I never
walked
did.
in and like heard
I just remember
something that
finding
was,
the
like,
Joy of
weird?
Sex book in my mom's drawer and being like completely fucked up for like 2 weeks.
Because you were like, oh my God.
You have joy?
my
Like,
God.
what the fuck? I'm like, no.
Zach?
When we were growing up, like when our like Xbox controller died or whatever, my buddy would be like, "It's okay, I know where to get from," and he brought out his mom's vibrator, took the double A's out of it, put it in the Xbox,
I'm dying.
and I'm like 11. I'm like, what is
Like, what is that?
What
Right.
happens with that?
Listen.
See, I'm naive. I think that Milo wouldn't know what that is. But
Milo
know?
for sure probably
Oh my
has
God.
an idea at the very least. He
It
might not
scares
know
me.
exactly,
oh my God, it's giving me
but I think
anxiety.
that he might have an idea
oh my God.
for sure. Because kids talk. Like, I remember being on the back of the bus and people were like talking about shit. Like, kids talk. Like,
Yeah. But
you
like
know?
you said, it is a facade. It's like you want your friends to think you're doing these things, but in reality, you're really not.
correct. I mean, who do you think that's worse for, though? Do you think
I
it's
don't know.
it's worse for guys or
Guys,
girls?
definitely boys.
I think it's worse for boys.
Because girls always support each other, where guys have to be cool, bro.
Well, and I never even really like thought about this until like now that I have a son that's like 11, and I'm just like, I feel like overhearing him talk with his buddies and stuff
Oh, it's
like that.
different.
It is different,
Oh, so scary.
you know,
Yeah, I know. I'm
because
terrified.
it's very much like, you know, one guy comes into the friend group and he's like, yeah, I made out with, you know,
Yeah,
whoever. And
right.
it's like, oh yeah, me too. You know, even though
Even though they didn't.
probably
Right.
haven't,
Oh my
right.
God, it's so scary. I hate it so
Or like I feel like boys just have that pressure that like you're not like a real guy like until you've started like doing
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
And then you're pressured into
and
doing
then you
things.
feel like I don't know, like I mean I'm not a guy, but I would imagine like, you know,
Yeah.
that you feel like, oh, am I a loser because I haven't like grabbed a girl's ass or, you know.
They've definitely thought about it because sometimes I see, like the other day when I dropped Milo off at school, I was like, these teachers are hot. There's a bunch of good looking teachers. I'm like, there's no way they're not thinking about it.
I don't know. I think it's the older girls, if I'm being honest.
Oh my God, this shit gives me anxiety. I'm
I
not
think it's
kidding
the
you.
older girls. I mean, a girl now in 8th grade is not giving a girl when I was in 8th grade. I mean,
No.
we didn't have fucking YouTube and like all that
No,
stuff.
you guys
to, like,
have access to
like
everything.
makeup tutorials.
Yeah.
To, like actually like
Slay
it
your
was-
face. Right.
Right. It was like we're slathering on the fucking, you know, cover girl.
Cushion.
Yes, the dream mat mousse.
Ugh.
You know.
I feel like today, like, you know, you think of like the gym teachers from when I was a student. It's like, you know, like pushing 350, could be a linebacker, like old lady.
Oh,
So
And now you
true.
see all these stories of like, you know, all the
an attractive
on
teacher,
Snapchat,
agreed.
you know,
Yes.
they were sexting. I feel like I've heard a lot more of those recently.
I agree with the statement. I definitely feel like as the years have gone on, like you definitely do hear that more.
Oh no, gym teachers were like, and are you kidding
Listen,
me?
I remember all of my gym
Did you have
teachers,
driver's ed?
and they were old.
Did you
They
have
were
driver's ed in
decrepit.
school?
Yes, I did.
Do they still have that?
Yeah, I think
Oh, I
so.
don't know. I feel like mine was very different, but he was mean and big and gross, and so was my PE teachers.
Listen, mine was old,
Yeah.
like really gross, and he like dipped, and so he like spit into like which now
Ew.
like kind of I'm like, how was that possible? But I'm like,
In class,
I'm like, how was he doing that on school grounds? I don't know. I'm not asking any questions.
anything goes back in those
Right,
days.
anything goes.
Right.
But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Coach Carter was, yeah.
Is he still around? Is he still alive?
I mean, he was so old then. If he is, he's like 80. I mean, he's up there at
That
this
is
point.
crazy. But now they're like snatched and like, oh no, Milo's like, look at his drip. That's my whatever
Listen,
teacher.
my
And I'm like, what?
sister-in-law- My sister-in-law was a gym teacher,
And she's hot.
She's hot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm sure some of those
It was
kids,
not like that back in the day.
I mean, mind you, she was working with elementary school kids, but still, like,
Still.
kids in 5th grade.
Oh
Like,
my
I'm sure
gosh.
they, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a crush on their teacher or
Right.
whatever. That's so true. Times are changing.
Times are changing. I mean, that's the shit right there. That's like, that's what makes you feel old.
But I think it's like having access to everything is just what's changed for us. Is like raising kids now versus our parents raising us is like so different because like
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
they don't need us. They have the internet.
now kids
You know?
have access. Like, my kids don't have, I mean, they have phone, but they don't have access to the internet. Do your
No.
kids have
My
access,
kids have
to the
access
internet?
everything. Oh yeah.
My kids don't have access to everything.
Yeah. Mine do.
But it's like, if you do, it's like,
yeah.
Milo might be on little
Boobies.com.
Yeah,
I
and you don't know.
I know.
and you
I
have
mean,
no idea.
I remember when they were like littler and they were like try to look something up and I'd be like, oh, don't put that.
Listen, I will never forget. This was way back when, you know, everybody had like a family computer in their house.
Yes.
And my sister innocently one day was like, I'm going to look up something from Dick's, the store.
The store.
The store. And she Googled Dick's.com. I'm just going to sit that right there.
That is
We're
funny.
not prepared for what popped up on that screen.
Oh my God.
Literally, like, it's something simple like that, though,
But
where it's like you
that's
give
what
your
I
kids
mean.
access
Oh,
to the
yeah.
internet, and it's like
Oh yeah.
something innocent, like, oh, I'm just gonna, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Don't you
someone's
feel
giving a
sad for
blowjob.
them?
It's like,
I feel
you know?
sad for them that they don't get to like experience that in life.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 15 at Myrtle Beach and I met this guy named Nicky, like it was like the first time I was ever like out on my own on the beach,
Yeah.
just like meeting a hot guy. And my parents were like, he's bad news. And I was like, I love him.
Right.
And,
And you're
like,
like never even gonna see this guy
Never going to
again.
see him again, but it's not like I could get on, Instagram
Right.
and find him and see where he lives and all the things.
Right.
It was like that lives in my memory
It's
of like
we're gonna make out one last time. And I'm
right,
never gonna see you
right.
again.
And I'm going to pull in the way and like cry in the back of the station wagon as we
Correct.
pull away,
And wave out of the back window of
Wave.
the car.
and see his like long hair blowing in the wind, No, it's like now
Those
I could be
days are
like
gone.
Nikki,
Those days are gone.
it's gone.
And that's why there's fucking people showing up to people's houses
Right,
randomly because
exactly.
they're chatting with kids on Roblox.
Right. Oh my God, that scares me to death. Oh
Scary.
my God, it's so
It's
scary.
scary. I don't like it.
Changing.
I don't like it.
How do we get here? Where we're talking about?
Because listen, our minds are a million miles an
know.
hour and we're just
We always reminisce though. I
always.
think reminiscing is like the best.
Always.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, don't you feel like being like a teenager or a kid and like listening to your parents reminisce, like, this is so fucking stupid.
This is
or like, you're
lame.
like, back in my day. And it's
And you're like, oh, no,
now
uphill.
and it's like, you do it now.
Yeah, but our stories are better.
Or you hear a song and you're like, oh, this was my
This
jam.
is the jam.
Yeah. And you're like, oh,
Bust a
God.
move. Don't just stand there.
Mine is
Bust a
like
move.
50 Cent in the club. Like,
In the club, we all fam.
yes. In the
Yeah.
club.
Oh God, those were the days. Like, I hurt for them in that way because I do love my life and I love how I grew up and I love even the bad experiences. Like, I'm grateful for, and it's like there's no mystery left. It's just kind of like,
No.
got a question, look it up.
Yeah.
Worried about
Yeah.
worried about a sexually transmitted disease, look that shit up.
it
Oh,
up.
nope, I don't have crabs. Cool.
Just look it
Back in the day, you living with that shit. Like your friend had it, and you're like, oh God, did I get? No, thank God, never got anything, which is fucking amazing because freaky deaky over here. But yeah, it's just like everything's
I
there.
mean, I feel
I
like
didn't have to talk about like what?
I don't know because we were talking about family life and now we've taken a hard left turn. I mean, I think that moral of the story is you can't just give your kids a fucking book and be like, here's some body part.
No, I haven't given it. It's still in
You
the
do have
plastic
to have
bag.
those conversations.
I
And
know.
I have had that conversation with him.
Milo was like, no, Mom, God, I don't want to talk about it with you. I want to learn it at school. And I'm like, okay.
Well, listen, my son is like 3 girlfriends deep and the school year has
Because he's a
it's not
gangster.
over, so
He's got
like,
Riz.
listen, I am putting it all out there for him because I'm like, I don't know what's actually happening with you.
Yeah.
you
But it's
know?
good that they're open with you. And like, that's the takeaway, I guess. Right?
I mean, did your parents ever have like a sex talk with
Fuck
you?
no.
My mom did.
I was more advanced than my parents.
My mom had a sex talk with me.
She
It was
did.
very enlightening.
Was it like birds and bees or what
I
was it?
mean, yeah, it was like a little birds and bees, but like pretty much in a nutshell, like, hey, if you're gonna have sex, like, can you please tell me so that you can be on birth control?
My mom was like, stop having sex. That was basically.
Yeah, but I think that's like the mindset that like
Yeah.
most people have.
Yeah. But your parents are cool.
I mean, I think like my mom had me young.
Yeah.
My grandma had, my aunt young.
Yeah.
So I think like in her mind, she was just like, I
Do
don't
you
want
feel like
you
you're going to try to like mold how you treat your children kind of like your parents did because it worked?
Yeah, because I feel like there was never any like weird, like, I don't know,
Awkwardness.
like we were like allowed to have like sips of like alcohol or like beer and like stuff like that, like,
Yeah.
and some people are like, absolutely not. I will never let my kid, but then it takes like that, like air of mystery away. You're
Right.
like, I've had a sip of.
Takes the taboo out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
and it makes your parents approachable, which
Right.
is like, that's the dream.
By the way, they were like, here, you can have a sip. And we're like, ew,
Yeah.
it's like, it's not like we're like, ooh, like I'm drinking
Yeah.
every night. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I definitely aspire to be that parent. I mean, as much as like I did as a kid and my mom was like, you took acid? Oh my God. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, it wasn't like so bad. I mean, it was so
Right.
bad. I'm not going to treat my kids like that. I'd be
think
like,
when
you
you're
smoked pot? Okay,
so,
cool.
Like,
know?
straight laced and you're like so tight and you have your like on your children, that is when you create like your kids to like go out and get like fucking crazy like you did, because
That's all I'm saying. And
you
I
just
tried
wanted
everything.
freedom. You just
yeah.
wanted freedom and you didn't have any freedom.
But had my mom been like, if you're going to do it here.
Right.
And I'll keep you safe. It would have been different.
Or
but
but
instead it was like, you're a whore because you know,
Right.
smoked pot.
Right.
And you're like, wait, what? I am?
Right.
I'm going to my friend's house now. And
Right.
tonight we're going to do cocaine. It's just like,
Because
you're
like,
pushed.
yeah. 'Cause you're
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna rebel against you. I'm gonna do all the things.
Right. Oh my gosh, I remember like my friend's mom, Jessica, we were like babysitting and we dropped acid and like her parents found out and came to get us at the pep rally and dropped me off at my front door. And I was like I was so messed up and they were like, take your daughter. She's a bad influence. And my mom was like, you're sleeping outside. Like it was awful. I was always in trouble. Always.
I feel like that was a different time though.
I know.
Now we live in the kids have phones.
I mean, and kids can look up like what happens if you smoke pot or like what happened, I mean, and maybe that is a good thing in that way. It's kind of like, oh, I don't want to feel like that. I'm not going to do it,
I think they know way more than we think that they know.
And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I had
never
friends
know.
that were like smoking cigarettes and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't feel so taboo though. It just felt like we were cool kids.
Yeah. I mean, we were.
Anyways,
There's that.
7-Eleven, I regret stealing those cigarettes back in the day. Sorry about that.
I don't regret smoking a Newport.
I'm pretty sure that was the day that I got hit by a car on my skateboard too.
I don't regret smoking a Newport. I don't regret getting into cars and being intoxicated. I don't regret taking my heels off and walking downtown barefoot.
Oh my God, down the cobblestones, just like,
I don't regret any of it because it was fucking fun.
no.
Live
Live your life.
your fucking
But
life.
be able to talk to your parents about it. I think be parents that like your kids can come to and talk to. I feel inspired by you.
And you can say penis and vagina and have a sip of,
Beer.
It's fine.
That's cool.
Everything's fine, man.
According to
It's all good.
Sade, peace.
Everything's good.
Everything's good. Everything's cheeky. Are we good for today, or what do you think?
I feel
you have anything else you want to talk
that's-
about?
I feel like that's the Jerry Springer final moment.
Yeah.
You
Oh my
know?
gosh, I used to love that show.
I lived for the final moment.
We need guests on that like razz us like
I would
that.
love someone to bring that back. Just
Could it be
bring
us?
That back? Could we bring that back? I would love to bring that back.
We
It was
have
like-
your ex-girlfriend here. Here she comes.
It's like finding the people though, like that, like at its like time was like so good.
and the
it was so
bodyguards and like,
ridiculous.
oh God, it was
It just was so ridiculous.
I know.
I always laughed at the end when they would just have them all lined up and they would just
And they would
shred
just
them.
brawl each other.
It's
Dump
so-
trunk in the front. It's like, oh my
I
god.
used to love that. Or somebody
know.
like Jerry.
Those are the days. I'm telling you, nothing is like it used
Nothing
to be.
is like it used to be.
we have lived, honey.
Listen, I feel like moral of the story is there are people on social media that like ask like, "Hey guys, what was it like in the early 2000s?" And listen, it
Not
was a
like
different
this.
time. It was a different time. It
I
was
know.
fucking fun.
Those are the days. Hopefully, we can give that a little of
I
that
think
to
the
our
90s.
listeners. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I do.
I
Maybe
mean,
I do.
maybe we do. That's us.
Well-
Hey, cheers to you. Even though I don't have a drink, I'm drinking water today, but it's cool.
Well, cheers, you.
Oh, here. We love you. Thank you for listening.
Clink.
Oh, that was a little clink. Here's to you. See you next time.